Hello everyone, in this video we are going to have a look at how we can style elevated buttons and outline buttons to look like this. We have several different options to choose from, different borders, different styles, and that's what we are going to look at in this video. Okay, so let's jump in. Okay, so let's maybe first start by removing this sample code as we usually do, like this. And we are gonna create a new stateless widget, and this is gonna have the same name, my homepage. There we go. The style, we don't need that right now. All right, so maybe we'll do a hot start in a moment. Let's start by giving this container a nice background color. Let's do this using the decoration attribute. This needs box decoration. So we'll do it like this, and in there we are gonna set the color to maybe white, just like this. There we go. Let's also add the const so we don't see that warning. Then let's add a child for our container, and in that child we are gonna create a column because we are gonna show several different button types. And maybe let's also center our children. We can do this using the main axis alignment dot center, and this will show our buttons. All right, so let's do a quick hot restart in a moment here. There we go, and let's see if that is working. There we go. So now we have a nice white container, and we are ready to add some buttons in here. So first we are going to add some elevated buttons. So we need to have an elevated button. As you can see, by default we get an on pressed. Let's put an empty function over here. We don't need anything there right now. And let's give this a child, and this is gonna have some text like button 1. Not very original, but it'll do for now. And let's see, let's add some commas here. And let's remove this one over here. That looks a little bit better. Let's add the const, and this should be our first button. So here we have a very standard button that we know. And now I want to show you how you can style this button. You can do this using the style attribute. So let's use that one. And for this, we need to say elevated button style from. There we go. And in there you have several different options like alignment, animation, background color, the elevation, which you can change, fixed size, foreground color, maximum size, minimum size, on primary, on surface padding, shadow color, splash factory, which is the effect when you click on the button, text style, visual density. So there's a lot of stuff that you can change here. Let's say that we want to change the border. We do this using the shape. So, and this has several different things that we can put in here. But for instance, let's use stadium border. Let's have a look at that one. There we go. And then you see that we have a nice pill-shaped button over here. So that's one thing that you can do. Let's make a copy of this button, and we're gonna put a new button now here, And for this button, we are gonna use a different shape. Something else that you can put here is the rounded rectangle border. That's this one here. So here we have a very rectangular shape border, and in there are actually some options which you can set here. You can also set a border radius and a border side. So if we want to change the border radius, we could say border radius dot for instance circular, and then we can put a value in here, and we have to remove the const here. So now we have a radius effect on our button here. So that's something else we can also do. All right, now let's play around a little bit with the colors in our button. Let's make a copy of this button again. And now we want to change, for instance, the foreground color. So in here we can say foreground color, and we can give this color for instance, something like that. There you can see that our text color is now changed. Let's say that we want to also have a background color, so that's a different option that we can use here. Let's take this color, for instance. There you see that we have a different looking button now with some other colors. Let's also choose a different shape of button now. We still have a circle button, which we can also do. And for this, we need the circle border. And as you can see here, when I change this, and because there's some text in here, the button is smaller than the text on the button. So you can fix this by adding a padding in here. And let's say, for instance, 45 or something. So you will see that your button becomes larger, and then this is fixed. So this is also something that you can do. For the next button, let's make first a copy of this button here. There we go. We are gonna look at a different type of shape that we can give our button. Let's add some commas over here that it formats a little bit better. There we go. Let's remove the padding, and for this one we are gonna use beveled rectangle border. So let's type in this here. Let's see what this looks like. Not much at the moment. We can set our border radius as well. Border radius circular. Circular 20. There we go. Let's remove this here. So as you can see, this is a different shape of button that we get here with a beveled rectangle border. Something else that we can do here is play a little bit with the shadow color. So you can also give your button a shadow color, and maybe do like a red or maybe a red accent shadow color. So you see it a little bit when you apply the shadow color in your button here in the bottom. If you want to see more of that effect, you have to adjust the elevation a little bit of your button. So when we do it like this, you will see that your shadow becomes much more visible this way. The next thing that I want to show you is that you can also change the color of the button whenever you click on it. You also have things like hovering over a button, which you can also intercept. So this requires a little bit more code. It's also something that I just keep at hand in a script, because it requires some more coding. So let's maybe first make a copy of some button here. I'm gonna take this one here. There we go. And let's see. So first of all, we need to change the style a little bit. Okay, so button style. Property dot resolve width. And here we need to make some changes a little bit. Let's see that I have enough here. Resolve width color. There we go. And then we want to set the material states. There we go. And then we want to return a different color. Let's see if I have enough here. No. So if the state, so here's where we can see what state the button is in. So states contains material state dot pressed. So there is something wrong, but let's just type this here for a sec and we'll figure it out in a moment. I think I'm missing here. There we go. Let's see. There we go. So a little explanation. So we are going to update the overlay color whenever the state of our button changes to something else. So let's, for instance, you see here this material state, it has different things that you can monitor basically. So we are going to look at the pressed state of the button. So whenever we press the button, we want to return a different color for the overlay. So let's maybe take pink or something. And let's see if this works. So we have a new button here, and whenever we press on it, as you can see, this changes now to a nice pink color. Let's try, for instance, hovered, and this should change then whenever we hover over the button. Let's see here. Press. Let's see if this is still working here. So that's still working. Not sure why it's not working, but I guess it has to do something with the emulator because I'm pretty sure the code is working. All right, now let's look at the outline buttons and what we can change with those. It's pretty much the same, so we are gonna quickly run over them. Let's maybe first wrap this column in a row. So we have two two columns in a row, basically next to each other. So let's go all the way down here for a new column. And this also has some children. And we are gonna also also center these. There we go. All right. This looks okay. Our first outlined button. Let's maybe make a copy of our first button over here. There we go. All right, that's a good. Maybe also center our row. Now they're nicely in the middle. And let's change this to an outlined button. There we go. There we go. So basically it's the same as before. We can also make some changes in here. Let's say, for instance, that we want to do something different here. We can also change our border color by changing the border side. So this needs a border side. And we can give this a color, colors dot purple, for instance. There we go. And we can also change the width to make that border a little bit bigger like that. There we go. So now we have a different type of button. And let's also update the text color here. So as you can see, we have a nice purple looking button. One thing that we need to change here though is to update this to the outlined button. There we go. It was working before, but this looks a little bit better. For our last button, let's create an outlined button. There we go. Outlined button. And this is going to be a different type of outline button. We can also add an icon in here. For our onPressed, let's add an empty function like this. And for our child, let's leave this for now. There we go. The other options that we have here is icon. So let's add an icon. For instance, a star maybe. There we go. And then we also can add a label here, and this label is gonna require a text widget, and let's say awesome. There we go. And here also a const. There we go. So here we have a nice outline button with an icon here, a star, and some text. And of course, you can do the same things as we saw before. You can change the border style, the border thickness, the border color, the background color of your button, the foreground color, also the icon color. So there's a lot of different stuff that you can do with these button styles. Okay, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was informative. If it was for you, please like the video, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. I would really appreciate that, and it will motivate me to create more content. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Bye bye.